Okie doke. We are back. And in a slightly tense and unexpected situation, there are 4 people in the square in the middle of town, in the middle of the night. One of whom is Saf is sitting on top of an old man. Lockheed is holding a bag of extremely valuable technological components. There are 5 spotlights in the sky pointing down onto the ground around you, and 2 red dots training themselves on the center of mass of both Lockheed and Wolf.
Saf and Wolf, right?
Saf and Wolf. Sorry, yes.
Lockheed is being spared.
Yeah, Lockheed is being spared because Lockheed doesn't have any psychic tech active.
Because Lockheed's the best.
What do you do?
Lockheed's the coolest. I just continue being cool.
Yeah, so
just want a hairbrush.
I think that in response to all of this, Wolf pushes Saf off of Wisher just with her foot, just kind of gently kicks Saf over while he's mesmerized by all this shit happening, and then just tells Wisher to run and make it look good. But doesn't let Wisher take the stuff.
Wisher, in given this situation, Wisher has this moment of seeing presumably what is presumably the thing that he's been trying to get, and it being terrifying. Doesn't quite think very clearly, and runs towards the salt.
Yeah, okay, sure. I wasn't picky about which way he ran.
No, exactly. But yeah, no, he is definitely that thing of panicked animal runs in random direction.
Yep. And then Wolf just chambers around into her shotgun and starts blasting into the air, runs for her rifle, and is going to do a fighting retreat through the town, trying to make it to a good vantage from which to shoot these things out of the sky.
Cool. You got to move for that? Because I think we're in a battle then.
If we're in a battle, then I've got some moves.
As do I.
Oh, yeah.
I do.
Saf is would anyone like a coffee?
I not much assistance here.
That's okay. I'm trying to keep you out of it, honestly.
Nope.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Do the thing.
So, sorry, let me just track down the battle moves in this book here.
While you do that, I'm going to quickly jam a Reality's Fraying Edge. 14s.
Holy shit!
Big boxcars. We call that Canadian snake eyes.
That's wild.
The fact that we've gone 4 and then 14 in 2 rolls.
Heck yeah!
Apocalypse World is an added contrast, Sash.
Hey, Ash.
Yeah.
I get to name one person who'll die and one person who'll live.
Yeah.
I would like to... Now, I can't name player characters, is the only thing. In which case, person who'll live, I think Whisper's been through enough. I think Whisper can live.
Wish is going to live? Okay.
Sorry, Wisher. I'm sorry, not Whisper. Wisher. And as for the person who'll die... I mean, I'm having trouble picking between Bean and Jakabaka. It's definitely going to be one of them. I think Jakabaka
I
is
love
a
your
better
ability,
choice.
like, because like given the situation, you can kind of summon someone into the scene with this psychic ability.
Yeah. It does say if it is even remotely possible, the MC will make it come true. But like, it doesn't.
Yes.
It doesn't. It is a vision of what is to come. It doesn't stretch
Yeah.
the reality of the situation we're in.
Yeah.
So if it is remotely possible, Jakabaka will die here today.
That's fucking amazing.
I give you that gift.
Cool.
And
I love that
mark
gift.
XP. This game's dumb. Love it.
Sick. All right, Andrew, were you making a battle move?
Yeah, I think there's a split of how this could happen, Ash. Just looking at the variations for Seize by Force on page 168.
Yep.
I feel like I'm either fighting my way free or defending someone else from attack by doing this. I feel like I'm kind of like doing something that's in the middle of both of those spaces. Because my big goal here is to draw them away from Saf, who I view as a smart person who I want to live, but who won't fight well. Yeah.
In that case, it sounds like you're defending.
Cool. Yeah. So let's do that. Which is still Seize by Force. Keeping in mind that I am a small gang.
You am a small gang.
I get a 7.
Cool.
And so I can choose to protect them from harm, which I will do.
Yeah.
With one of my 2, and with my other one, I think it's going to be that I suffer little harm because she is just trying to draw them away, be ducking and weaving and getting into cover and taking their attention. This isn't the kill stroke yet.
I think that like you get a couple of rounds off with the shotgun, and then like I think if you switch to the rifle and start like making shots at the lights, because like you can tell that like the shotgun would not be that. It's hard to tell exactly how far away they are.
Yeah,
but like the shotgun would not be the thing, whereas like the rifle, and at some point one of the lights flickers off for a second when you like do actually land a shot, and the humming for a moment becomes more like a chainsaw for a second before it like kicks back into its droning. And I think the fact that you managed to do that is the thing that gets both red dots trained on you instead of on Saf. I think the other thing that helps with that is, I think, if this is okay with you, Saf, I think you kind of, this overwhelming blinding light, your body reacts and goes, nah, and just like cuts off sensory feedback from that organ that is not working.
Okay.
And we see the lights go off on like the like one or two little LEDs on your eye go dark. And I think that probably also helps pull the attention to
Wolf.
Wolf. Two main directions that are possible. So A, there are a whole bunch of people that are like that are like now emerging from tents and freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is rapidly going from an empty space into a like like dozens of people appearing. So you can move towards that like populated area that has like Toyota and that in the like the fallen mechs that people live in. You can move towards that. You would be able to get that would potentially give you access to the actual water tower as a point.
Mhm.
Whereas if you wanted to be like as bunkered down as you could be, then you would want to be in the Union Boys building because they've specifically fortified it the other day, right? Like they already set it up to be defensible. So it's whether or not you want to. You can kind of put yourself in a position where you have a more advantageous ability to like fight back, but it does kind of mean that you're moving into the more populated area, or you can go and.
Oh, I'm doing that first one. Yeah. I think she
Well,
like
sweet.
runs around, like she goes around the Union Boys' compound, and then like cuts back into town. Just so that she can kind of use it as cover for the first little bit. And if they're gonna shoot like a, missile or whatever at her, that it's gonna happen in that stage she expects. And so it's like, cool, they'll blast this big building, and then I'll like come around and get over into an area which is a bit more open, and I can get some good shots on them, that kind of thing.
What's
So that's
Lucky
the
doing?
plan.
Because you're absolutely successful in that, right? Like you lose them, the lights start searching, the red dots start searching, and I think the lights call out like a woman's voice calls out from the lights, saying saying something about it's hard to make it out over the droning, but it is turnover insurgents, like and turnover insurgents and minimal casualties.
Cool. I don't think
Lucky,
that
but
second
yeah.
one's going to happen.
The voice calling out Ash, is that like, does it sound magnified like it's coming through a speaker, or is it sound like someone's like yelling from the lights?
I reckon you've probably So I think you've heard this voice before from your
Can't
doodad.
shoot it. Oh right, yeah. Okay, go on.
And I think you are the one that like picks up the fact that it is not quite. We as an audience would recognize it as an artificial voice, right?
Yeah, it's a Vocaloid. It's the TikTok voice.
It's a Vocaloid is
Yeah.
the best way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
No one else here is going to recognize that, but like your technological thing is like, oh yeah, you can make machines sound like people, and that's part of the tech that is used to make Wolf's thing work, right? So like,
oh nice,
and it is coming from directly, like it's coming from the center of the 5 lights.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I am going to pull a small torch out of one of the chest webbing pockets that I wear.
Yep.
And I'm gonna flash at the lights the same like Morse code signal that I received before.
It sounds like there's a move in here. Because it sounds like you're trying to manipulate the lights.
Yeah. All right. So let me find my moves list here. Yeah, I would either. I mean, that works for me because I get the XP for the hot. Sure. I'm fast talking, right? When you try to seduce, manipulate, bluff, fast talk, or lie to someone, and I want them to think that we are part of whatever their organization is. Like we're on the same team. You know, we have received your message and are replying in kind. Yeah, cool. Give them a reason, flashing their lights, and roll plus hot. So, -1, baby, let's go!
I love rolling hot in Morse code. Holy shit!
Yeah. I am only hot in Morse code. Ash,
Yeah.
that's the
This is
only place that I'm
ridiculous.
hot.
That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
it's the universe. The universe has destined you for greatness.
Truly.
All
Destined
right.
all of us.
The hottest Morse code of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So, on a 10 plus, do both. Oh no, on a for NPCs, they go along unless some factor. Yep, cool, great. So both both red dots like disappear. And like and the female voice like calls out and asks and requests identification.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And like you've rolled a 10 on this, I'm not going to take it away from you. Like
yeah, I think like I look around and like with a bit of a shrug and probably not knowing why, I send back like
I think when you look around, you spot
oh no,
you spot
no.
Toyota.
Hold on. I was gonna say I could have. I was like, oh, what's a cool thing that I can send back? Implicit in this discussion is I don't actually know Morse code. I'm just repeating a thing. So I send back
Right.
a jumble of signals. Like I don't really have a
Yeah.
good
Right. Exactly.
read on this.
Yeah.
So I just send back like a scramble of flashes.
You just you send back but yeah, you do like when you have that moment of looking around, you see you do spot Toyota among the crowd of people now. Like there's now like a big like wide circle of people kind of keeping their distance, you know, a few dozen feet back, but a few dozen meters back, but like a crowd of people looking at you in awe as you're like communicating in this fucking with these lights. You send back a jumble of signals, like just random random words that you've heard that just happen to all be ones that are by pure chance happen to all be phonetic alphabet.
Mm-hmm.
And so and it kind of like I think it like considers it and is and then the voice asks if you require assistance.
Yeah.
And the voice informs you that there are that two insurgents have are in the immediate area, and asks you if you require assistance.
Yeah, I haven't learned Morse code in the interim, so I.
This isn't in Morse code. This is the woman's voice speaking.
Yeah. I have. I am not sure. So I Lockheed am not sure if like speaking up gives the game away here, right? And so like, putting on like the also like, do you require assistance is such a great phrase, right? Because we do. We require a bunch of assistance. There's a bunch of problems here. But none of them are solved by shooting my friends. So I don't know, like table check, what's the vibe here? Like what's the Do we try
big
and
strange
pull
encounters
this-
of the third kind, like
Yeah.
imagery there.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember. It was like Klaatu, Barada, Nikto, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the magic words?
Right.
Yeah. I think I call out you know, the with the strongest, most self-assured voice I can muster, I say uh our uh our radios have broken and we're running out of food.
Yeah, Nimbus protocol allows us to provide to supply provisions on successful elimination of insurgents.
It's like a look at Wolf, I guess, and like a
I mean, Wolf's
Well,
gone.
like-
Wolf is climbing the water
that's
tower
right. Yeah,
in the
yeah,
distance.
You're
there.
skedaddled. Yeah,
and
yeah.
like Andrew, at any point in this
yeah.
conversation, feel free to be like, "This is where I do something."
Yeah, for sure.
The moment
I
is
also
coming very
think that.
soon, and the thing I'm going to do is bad.
Yep, I'm imagining so. Saf, you're.
Yeah, I guess
I just want to
like
just check in
Yeah.
on Saf. Saf, you're seeing this like all of these like newcomers. I think you're very aware of, like, you can see Toyota there, you can see your other staff members, you can see a lot of the newcomers into town, the from the tent city, are all of the people that were part of that discussion earlier today during the daytime. Like, and you see like a couple of people like run off to go and get someone else, right? Like, people are drawing people into this thing. And so I just want to check in with you because, like, you're the one that has the emotional bead on the crowd.
I mean, true, but it doesn't feel like there's necessarily an action for me to take right now.
No,
Like,
I'm
I
just-
don't have a So
Yep,
I
cool.
think
I'm
at this
just
point,
checking
yeah,
in.
just
Cool.
just
All right,
walking.
sweet. Lockheed.
Yeah. Does Lockheed respond?
Yeah. Lockheed responds, and like again, Lockheed is not the person that you send in as a high stress negotiator, and it's like, can we do the provisions first?
Andrew, do you want to do anything there, or do you, or shall I continue?
Yeah, so she's set up on the water tower. She like scans the crowd, and then she is going to shoot Toyota in the head.
Sick. All right, cool. So, yeah. So I think then the order of events is that like you see the lights start lowering down on cables. A pallet of the food supplies that we're used to seeing. And then halfway on, like when it's halfway down, I think, is the rifle silenced?
The rifle is silenced. So people
right.
might not even notice right away that this has happened.
I feel
So I
like
think-
somebody's going to notice when they get pieces of a person who used to be in
Well, I
one
mean,
space.
Yes, in that sense, sure.
Like,
So I think the thing just touches down. People start screaming. Then other people like look and see why people are screaming. Everyone seems to assume that this was the lights that have done this. Some run away. Some try and run forward to come and grab some of the food. And then I think I think the lights spot that the like gunfire has happened, and so red darts start training on the people who are running to the food and start taking some of them down. A couple of people make it away with a small carton with like a carton, but all hell breaks loose.
And in the midst of that chaos, that's when Wolf is going to start unloading AP ammo into the drone or whatever this thing is from the water tower.
Cool, awesome. Is there a move for that?
I mean, I'm kind of I could be considered as succering all of these people because they don't know where I am or that I'm trying to kill them.
So you're not succering the drone after it's worked out that there is an offensive,
right? Because now it's ready to go. So then, yeah, maybe it's just single combat.
Yep, that sounds good.
Cool. Okay. I will roll plus hard again. I get a 13.
I didn't know these numbers existed in this game. We're
finding new numbers.
It's really interesting.
Exchange harm, but first roll hard. On a 10 plus both, I inflict terrible harm and I suffer little harm. So +1 to my harm that I deal, -1 to my harm that I take, and me and this thing exchange harm as appropriate, which it doesn't know where I am, Ash. So it's your call as to whether or not it can effectively.
It doesn't know where you am.
But it might be able to like triangulate my position based on how Toyota just got plugged. And then, depending on how advanced this thing is, it might figure it out.
I mean, you're a small gang, but you did terrible harm.
Correct. And I have AP ammo in my rifle, which is 3 harm, far, high tech.
How many people is a medium gang?
It's like a handful of people. It's like, I think at most 5 or something for a small gang.
I thought a small gang was up to 5.
Yeah, medium's up to 25.
Oh, sorry, you said medium. That's my bad.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure medium is somewhere between like 10 and 25.
Which is, okay, cool, great.
Which is a 1-step difference. So that would be, yeah.
So, you unload it. You start unloading rounds. Once you've taken out the nearest light to you, it means that you can make make it out more clearly. The thing that you are from the old school, right? Like you remember when the war was happening.
Yeah, she's basically been like scavenging the aftermath of battles for a lot of her life.
And like to the point where you can identify machines and weaponry and things like that from both sides of the war.
Mm-hmm.
This is neither. This is not a quadcopter, a heptacopter, 5.
Quintacopter.
Quintacopter. Let's go with quintacopter. But if a quintacopter were the Ark of the Covenant,
okay,
where the like rotors are like the thing of like many wheels spinning on, like you sometimes get iconography of like angels as like circles of eyes spinning on each other.
Yep.
Not with the eyes, but that's what the rotors are. It's all gold, alabaster, like unnecessary ornament of feathers.
Yeah, it's this like Baroque drone.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The center of it looks like it could be a church organ. Like and this thing, and you're like, oh, there are like 24 gun points on this thing, right? Like it is it can fire at all angles, but it doesn't have a clear shot on you. And now that you can kind of like eye up the like, where are the weak points? How do those rotors work? Whatever, you can take out the rotors.
Yeah, she's just
right?
trying to like cripple it, right? So she'll go for like junction points between the rotor and the main body of the thing, or the rotors themselves if they have some obvious spot for her to put rounds in.
Because you're above a 13. Which building do you want this to crash into when it lands? You're on the water tower.
Yep.
The compound is too far away.
Yeah, because that's up the valley,
But
right?
everything else is kind of in remit.
Oh, well, it should definitely land on Jakabaka's compound.
There we
That's
go.
the
That
funniest
answers the
place for it to
question, doesn't
crash
it?
into. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
answers the question.
Love it when a conversation comes full circle.
So she like overclocks the rifle and just starts like slamming rounds into this thing. There's like a almost audible hiss as the like rounds pass through the air, and they're these weird like, I don't know, they're super like fancy. They have this thing where they can like, you know, penetrate armor and then balloon out and explode. And so yeah, she just like shreds into it with her with like the full
HEGP?
magazine. And then
So what was yours, Ash?
I was just asking because I thought Sydney might know if I think HEDP is the name of. No.
Heat is the one that I'm
HEAT?
familiar with. Yeah. So HAT is the version of that I'm familiar with, but there are others.
Yeah.
and yeah, she just like dumps the whole magazine out of this rifle and then like picks it up and moves because she knows that she'll get zeroed in on if she stays too long.
Yep. Cool.
Also, the rifle's like halfway overheated and it can't keep firing, so she has to just like boogie for a bit.
Yep. Given the fact that like given the armaments on this thing, as it's going down, I think it's going to still be able to take to get some shots on you. So I think 2 harm is reasonable for you dodging the out of the way of like a massive amount of like automatic fire.
Yeah, there's just like the spray of tracers in this big arc as it wings at me. Yeah, I have 2 armor, so I'm chill.
Yep. Sweet. Cool.
Yeah, she's got some like some very bad bruises, and like she definitely like hisses in pain as she's, you know, ducking around a corner or whatever, but she's mostly okay.
Cool. Josh, do you want to get hit by this thing as it goes down, or you're on the wrong side? You are on the.
I was gonna say I don't know what they're.
You are on the wrong side of the square.
Well, I guess that's one way to go out with a bang. So
time to run.
Okay. Oh, heck. Oof. You know, it's just been, you know, again, it's been a series of unfortunate dice rolls. It's happens to the best of us. I don't know.
But there is an opportunity for Saf to clear out before this happens, right?
Oh, yes, no, exactly. I'm asking if you want to do something out of fire, i.e., not like. Do you
I'd like to not die.
And, like,
is
shield
not
yourself?
What's the
do
not
you want to
die
run away?
move?
Do you want to protect someone else? This is not a you're dead. This is a hey, you're like, do you see this thing coming towards the building that you are standing next to?
Yeah.
Right. So what do you do?
Yeah, I think I mean, having that sense of it feels to me like the crowd is super hectic. If there was any opportunity, I think what I would do.
The crowd is no longer a crowd. It is just a bunch of people running in random directions in panic.
Yeah. So I think the first thing that I want to do is there any, like, I don't know if reading, try not to break the thing. I would like to read the situation to see if there's anybody around who needs assistance. And then if there isn't, then I'm just going to leave.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
Usage.
So
it's definitely tense.
Do one of these. I need to open my book. That'll probably help. Let's see. And since I'm okay, but I'm not. It says I'm kind of reading the situation under fire. Does that?
So read the situation, and then we'll do whatever your choice of thing afterwards is under fire.
Oh, I was just hoping that the reading the situation would also be under fire, because then they'd both be cool. But that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah,
Yep.
Uh-oh.
you got no read on this. It's chaos.
All right. Yep.
You get to ask a question. You get to ask one of the research questions.
Where can I run to not die? Like, where is the? If I'm reading one of the read the situations, yeah.
Yeah.
Then
what's my best way out?
Yeah.
whichever
What's my
question-
best way out? Yeah.
The thing is, the thing about this is, if you ask what's the best way out,
Yeah.
the answer I have to give you about
Is-
what is the best way out has to
Isn't
be
gonna be-
bad.
Yep.
Whereas if you choose a different question,
but I guess
There's
Right?
a little bit of gaming you can do here. So
I guess it just okay. I'm
I
just
mean, you
like,
can also ask
try-
which way is out, and it'll be dangerous, and then you can do something under fire to
Yep.
get out.
exactly.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right. Sure. Yeah, I was just like, it feels like you could metagame it, but I just feel like in that situation, that is the question I would be asking, which is,
Yeah.
how do I get
That's legit. Like, this entire game is a conversation between the fiction and the mechanics continually.
Mm.
So, cool. Best way out right now is your place. Like, it is the nearest place that that is going to be at least sheltered enough to potentially not take this damage, but also like it's not being crushed directly, but like whether or not it withstands the fact that the thing next door falls down.
Well, I don't think there's anything that I can do to really assist or be of any benefit to either Lockheed or Wolf. And I hate the idea of just like leaving them in the midst of everything, but I suppose Saf probably would be thinking like, okay, well, if they've already taken off, all this shit's hitting the fan, like I need to make sure that the one place where I can do something is okay. So yeah, I'll go ahead and I think hightail it back to the establishment.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. Well,
So like
of all the
in order to,
yep.
in order to do this, you have to not run directly away from the thing. You kind of have to run not parallel, what's the other word? Perpendicular to the like line of it falling. So you have to kind of really steel yourself to not run away from the thing and run towards the thing that you know is going to at least be a little bit safer. But I think we see you like tumble in, close the door behind you, and then we just hit, and then we hear the chaos, the thing hit the Union Boys warehouse outside. Fucking eruption. Not just an explosion, right? Like we hear there's some kind of like weird EMP fucking like sound wave that goes out, and then there's the explosion, and then we see like some kind of very strange emanation just pouring out of this building, with the like a cyan fog that is like a luminous cyan fog that starts pouring out. Lockheed, how you doing?
Doing great. I think I've solved every problem. If I am not in a position of risk, I think when this thing... Okay. I'm going to try and blend together some fiction and mechanics here. I hit an advance. As an advance, I took the add 2 things to your workshop. The 2 things I picked were receivers and transmitters and a relic of the Golden Age past. And so I'm going to, once this thing comes down, try and get into it and like pick it clean. Or at least like grab what I can hold, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Wolf, where are you?
So she scrambles down the water tower, and yeah, I think she's gonna like go into the Union Boys' compound. You know, shotgun in hand.
Probably be there like alongside, like Lockheed would be alongside you then.
Yeah, we're both in that space at the same time, but probably not in the
Yep.
same places doing the same stuff. Because
No,
she's
just-
going to go
just
in
picking that-
and make sure that they're all dead, basically.
Yep.
Starting with Jacobeka
Right.
and working her way down the list.
Cool. I'm gonna. In that case, I'm gonna need both of you to do something under fire.
All right.
Happy to do it.
Check my
Where the fire is angelic radiation.
Okay, well, I do things under fire with hard, so...
Is angelic
Sick.
radiation worse than regular radiation?
I'm so used to being irradiated, Ash. It's not a problem.
I'm used to it, and therefore it is a problem.
I think you get there like a couple minutes later than Lockheed. Like, just because Lockheed
yeah.
was closer when the thing went down, and more keen to like get in there.
Yeah, like actually go towards the drone, whereas I'm looking for humans.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple of Union boys that are like digging themselves out of the rubble. And you see one piece of rubble like move, like one like huge big chunk of like fallen wall or whatever, like lifting as something is trying to get out from underneath. And you definitely like hear the sound of Jacobaka's voice. Like as he's like trying to like lift himself out from underneath here. And you can also see Lockheed passed out from the thing that you are enduring.
Yeah, she's like got her mask on and everything. She's in full, you know, like desert.
Yeah, Lockheed's got no
mode.
mask. Lockheed's just been like, I'm going to go and do the thing. So yeah, like Jacobaka's over there, but also Lockheed is right here and very clearly doing poorly.
Well, they'll be all right for another second, and it won't be good if Jacobeka comes out of this live. So
Cool.
on the side of her shotgun, there's one of those things where it's like holding around, and you can just like feed it in. And it looks different than the usual stuff she's been working with, because this is one of her armor penetrating slug rounds for the shotgun. And so she like feeds that in, walks over to where Jacobeka is, and just plugs him with it. And this is designed for killing like vehicles and stuff, so it's just gonna, you know,
Cool.
I don't care how tough he is the idea.
Cool.
I think he might be dead.
And it's loud. This isn't silenced. And so it's very obvious what she's just done.
So
Wolf
I don't know
is
how the
like,
Union
I
boys
run
react.
this. Whatever 3 Union boys are remaining, they're mine now.
Yeah, she, like, looks at
Union
them.
boys see you execute Jacobeka loudly and attempt to fucking run. One of them, like most of them have like blood coming out of one of their orifices, like his eyes, mouth, ears, who knows? But like none of them are not clearly partially dying anyway. So
Yeah.
But I need. So the thing that I wanted to check here is Sydney on that failure.
Mm-hmm.
Given that you're not like the extra time that is taken to take out Jakabaka, you've got 3 harm coming at you instead of 2.
Yeah, I do.
And
That's cool.
It's armor ignoring. So
I think I am not the character that
is it
you
Psy harm?
needs
Is
to
that the
worry
name
about
of it?
stuff.
Like, no, Psy harm has
Psy harm
different.
specifically psychic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
this
think
can just
radiation
be
is the
just
I
like
think they use
AP.
something else.
It would be the tag you could
Yeah,
give
AP
it,
is
but
the
it's just
answer.
regular
Yeah.
harm. Unless you're
Yeah,
doing like
that's cool.
deprivation harm, Ash, which is a whole other thing. If you're considering radiation to work that way, I don't know, but
Sorry, it doesn't matter.
it can just be normal harm that doesn't care about armor. That's definitely
that's what it. Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be great for me.
But
Good news is I did miss this roll as well, so that's fine.
Which is
Yes.
you want to miss this.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job. All right, so you just take the harm.
I just take 3 harm. It's all
Just
fine.
take 3 harm. It's fine. Where does that put you?
I'm at 9 p.m.
Okay, cool.
So
Sweet.
I'm in the I'm still doing okay range.
Yes,
They
but
have a
it
whole
will get
3
worse,
other harm
not
to
better.
take.
Or you can choose something from the 7 to 9 list, and I'll take 1 less. But
Sorry, say again.
I said on a miss, the MC can nevertheless choose something from the 7 to 9 list above. But if she does it instead of some of the harm that you're suffering, so you take 1.
Let me see if there's anything I wanna. I mean, I don't think so, but let's just see.
Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, how's this? I will let you be not unconscious if you take 4 instead of 3.
I mean, sure. All right. No, I think I'll take the unconsciousness. The reason for that is that stepping into
I want to give you the opportunity to like. I want to give you the opportunity to be a bitch about Jakabaka.
Oh, nah. That's
Cool.
not even. That's not me. That's the psychic maelstrom reaching out.
No, I just wanted to give you the opportunity.
I appreciate
Cool.
it. Thank you.
Lockheed, what happens?
I
remain. Not Lockheed. Wolf, what are you doing?
Having executed Jakabaka, she will walk over to the now unconscious Lockheed, and she just like has a little satchel thing that she like swings around so it's in front of her. She's like safetied her shotgun and let it hang on the strap, and she like rifles through this little pouch and pulls out, I don't know, probably like a syringe with something in it, and like puts that into Lockheed, and then like gets hands under both of their armpits and drags them away from this, massive fire, etc. Probably into Saf's place, because it is the closest building that seems hospitable and friendly.
Yep. Saf, Wolf, like just the door open and drags Lockheed in.
Saf, like, oh my god, you survived! Like, you survived.
You're alive.
Like I definitely thought you were dead. Is probably like I imagine even if the building is okay, the shockwave, the force, the whole 9 yards has shaken everything up. Most folks, it's surprisingly pretty empty, but yeah, definitely duck around the under the bar and come to help lift Lockheed up and like set him down on a table.
Yeah, so we get them laid out. And...
like they're not dead, are they?
And so she's turned off her voice box and doesn't want to risk turning it back on. So she just like signs like "nah, alive," and then is like, like pulling open Lockheed's shirt or whatever so she can get at their chest and like, check their pulse, do various other things. Because she's not sure what's wrong with them. Like
Right.
she just saw them kind of stumble and then fall unconscious. So she's trying to like figure it out.
You're
so she
familiar
can-
with like chemical weapons, so like you're assuming it's one of those kinds of things.
Yeah, it's something like that because there's no obvious like bullet holes or anything like that.
I think is there a can I don't feel like this is something Saf would actually know anything about. I'm trying to think of if there is and my eye is broken. So I don't know that there's a
You can still open your brain. It's you
Okay.
can still open your brain. That's not that's not taken off the table.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like just sort of in the flurry of everything, Saf is trying to determine, like, because there are, I think in addition to the food and whatnot, like this is still the establishment. There still is the sort of like underbelly. There are resources here, and I think it just becomes this sort of I feel like it's opening the brain, but it is less in the it's less in the like here's the strange happenings of like the world coalescing, but it's like this moment of time stop where all of a sudden you're just like reviewing, and it's the like before. I don't know if you've ever had this happen, but like before you something happens that you're like, this could end my life, like it's like time stops and there's this moment of like super high processing. And I think Saf is going through that, trying to remember, are there any tools, any whatever that is in the establishment that could potentially help? Because Saf did see the like the cyan glow, right? So I feel like there are enough tools that potentially some pieces
like
could get put
one
together.
of the things, like until the door got like knocked open, and I think just and like immediately after it got closed again, like you had a bunch of like dishcloths and things like jammed in to stop any of the cyan, any of the like luminous cyan getting in through the cracks around the door, right? Like, so yeah, absolutely, because like you are definitely. I wouldn't hang out here for an extended period of time, but we're getting towards the
resolution.
So I think let's do your opening your brain, and you're opening your brain to your place. Cool. And yeah, you were looking for things that could help with Lockheed. Like, this is a place that people come to for care, right? You are not an angel, you are not a healer, but like people are coming here when they've been out in the waste for a long time and things like that. And there are people that come through here that are traders that sell you all sorts of snake oil and all these sorts of things. And you have a collection of, and I think you can probably be like, oh, I know where all of the things in here are that might be useful. Bottles of things, jars of stuff, some like quote unquote like herbal cigarettes, like various different like things you could like burn and get this the smoke would be some kind of thing. I think the what's Saf's assessment of the part of what part
What
of Lockheed does Saf think that and you can say anything from the lymphatic system to the memory of his dad, right? Like, what is the thing that needs healing here from your best guess?
my Sesame Street sensibilities had kicked in. Like it's their heart. Like
Great. Right.
I,
Awesome.
I
You go
think
and you know where there are several things that several different people have said, that are heart fixers of different kinds, right? Like, you're like, oh wait, there was that thing that I got from that crazy guy who would never show us his face, and there's that other thing that we got that there's that other thing that was from this other person. You know, all the places where different things are stored around the place that are in some way heart related.
I think basically so Saf kind of freezes up in this moment, and it is sort of like I feel like it's this opening your brain moment, because it's not just about, it's like you said, Saf is trying to take care of people. All of this other stuff has fallen apart, and now we've kind of wheeled all the way back to this person who has spent so much time taking care of surface level things, repairing things mechanically, who is a friend, but obviously there's this moment of tension. I think that it reminds Saf of as he's being sold these random things. There's one time years ago that there was this strange bottle of slightly blue tinted fluid, a something that he remembers hearing people say actually, there were stories, people was like, oh, that thing actually worked. My cat, I gave some to my cat and he perked right up. Just random stuff that you wouldn't think it was a big deal, but you hear the story often enough that you keep it. It was I'm going to keep this around just in case. And so Saf just takes off and goes down to sort of the stockpile cellar in the secret area of the establishment, and grabs not the bottle, not the whole bottle, because there still is this element of I need to keep shit down here secret, but pours it off into a vial that's nearby and brings the vial.
Bottle is layered. The bottle is labeled Aqua Radiata.
Yes. And is able to pour some off into a vial and brings the vial upstairs. And so the vial is nameless, so it's just generic dropper, bottle. And so takes it upstairs with a makes sense with a syringe. Takes the syringe and I don't have a medical degree, so whatever. Use the movie science. Jabs it into Lockheed's chest, and injects it slowly, and just looks up at Wolf, and is like, pretty sure this is gonna help.
Yeah, she almost stops Saf from doing it, but then kind of Kate relents.
The fire here is the fact that you might get this wrong.
I rolled didn't I roll well? No, it was a 9. Okay. Well, so
if you want to apply this and have it be successful, someone's got to act under fire or give me another move that is more appropriate.
So Ash, one thing that I will need to roll at some point here is I have a well-stocked and high-quality first aid kit counts as an angel kit.
Oh,
with a
sweet.
capacity of 2 stock. So I will roll my stock spent, and I'm going to spend 2 to help luck
Great.
it out here. But what Josh is doing feels
In
like
that
a
case,
step
in that case,
Yeah.
in that case, then Saf's supplies can also count as 1.
Oh, cool. So we can spend 3 stock. All right. Well, let's do that then. How do I just roll a die? Normal
Slash
style.
roll
I'll just
2d6 plus. Yeah.
I was hoping there might be a way on the sheet, but we'll just do this.
I think you like have to create a custom.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. Yeah.
So I get a 12.
Yeah. Right.
There we go.
Which
Yeah.
let me just scroll back to that. I believe my options are, so this is to stabilize someone who's at 9 or past. I choose 2 on a 10 plus. But they stabilize and heal to 6.
Heck yeah.
Wonderful.
I need to choose 2 from this list, and this list is very juicy. So
It's a real good list. Yeah.
Talk us through the list.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
all right, so they fight you and you have to narco stab them. How long will they be out? The pain and drugs make them babble the truth to you. Ask them what secret they spill. They respond very well to treatment. Recover 1 of the stock you spent if you spent any. They're at your complete mercy. What do you do to them? Their course of recovery teaches you something about your craft mark experience, or they owe you for their time, attention, and supplies, and you're going to hold them to it.
That's
That
an
is a
amazing
really
list.
good list. That is a very quality list.
So I just got an advance also, and I can take a move from another playbook. And I'm currently on the angel page, and there is this move where I can use someone who's unconscious in my care for augury, and it's really tempting. Really tempting, Sydney. How do you feel about me being the first person to use augury this game?
I'm 1,000% here for it.
Incredible.
Yes, please.
All right, so I'll take that. Yeah, I guess I have to narco stab you, so you're going to be out for another hour or 2.
Yeah, right.
Like you wake, start to freak out, and have to be put back down.
Have to be sedated. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the pain and drugs make them babble the truth to you. What secret do you spill?
This is good. This is juicy. What secret do I spill? It like I can't think of the exact wording. The gist is okay. I tell you, like, the bag I was holding, guard it with everything. It's gonna help me fix bar and build a radio, and like I list all the things I'm gonna fix, and you are a notable exclusion. And the implication is like, I will never fix you because I'm sure as soon as I do, you won't come back. This is the only leash I have on you.
Right.
And I have no intention of ever letting go of it.
But also it means that you want to have a leash on them?
Yeah, of course. That's my girl.
So Wolf looks at Saf and tries to indicate, like, keep an eye out, like, look out, because this is as Lockheed is like passing out or getting, going back to sleep, and she's got to like keep doing stuff, keeping an eye on them. And in that time, I am going to use Touched by Death, Ash. Since you did highlight my weird, I feel obligated to do something with it. And I get a 9.
All right.
You know when you get that one magic player that's like, I do this, and then that triggers
Okay,
this, and
like
then that
legit.
triggers the other thing.
I've been trying so hard to not make that exact reference for the last 35 minutes. I keep not wanting to. I'm like, I don't want to interrupt the pace of the whatever, but I just feel like I just watched Wolf like draw the one card that activates the last 15 minutes of the Yu-Gi-Oh episode. Like, oh, you've activated my trap card. Like,
Yeah, playing board
going
games with me
off.
is insufferable because I am one of those people who's like, I'm going to explain my whole complicated turn to you, and it's going to take 20 minutes, and then I'm going to win.
One of the things that I do love about Go by Moonlight is that Go by Moonlight encourages you to do that mechanically slightly more than Blades does naturally. Like
There
Go
is
by
a move
Moonlight
for
does
that.
kind of go, hey, do you want to chain this into this into this? Like, yeah.
Yep.
Like legit, it's been incredible, and then to get that as the secret reveal, just so
Yeah, I knew that Sydney would be able
fantastic.
to give me a good one.
Fantastic.
So I need to decide if I reach through the world's psychic maelstrom to something or someone connected to it, isolate and protect a person or thing from the world's psychic maelstrom, contain a fragment of the world's psychic maelstrom itself, insert information into the world's psychic maelstrom, or open a window into it. I think what I want to do here, Ash. Oh, sorry. You go ahead.
So let me. You know something now about the forces that rule over and administrate this world in some way, and the psychic maelstrom is very much like their domain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it singled out Wolf and Saf as insurgents, right? Which is indicative of something as well. So, and she might be connecting the dots since there was the whole thing with like the Morse code and all that other stuff, which she was able to, she was watching all that play out. So I think I want to insert information into the world's psychic maelstrom, Ash.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if this is like, I don't know how much of this is like happening because of Lockheed and what's going on in their brain versus something that Wolf is doing deliberately. But I thought it would be neat if our little corner of the world, this valley, gets marked as like a drop point for supplies for their whole logistics system.
Yep. Absolutely.
Like something about that interaction that Lockheed had where it's like, oh, can you give us the supplies first or whatever? There was like a little flag went off in their system.
Yep.
And they're like, oh yeah, we have to deliver resources here.
I love that because that's the thing that Bean has been trying to do the whole time.
Yeah. All I needed was the unconscious body of my sweetheart. So
exactly. Yeah.
On a 7 to 9,
Bean
I
never
also
had
choose
that.
one from this other list here. I can make it persist for a while without my actively maintaining it, have it reach deep into the world's psychic maelstrom, broadly into the world's psychic maelstrom, or have it be stable and contained with no bleeding. And that last one is boring as hell, so we're not doing that.
The second one, deeply, would not be this place. It would be that it would be to change the rules more broadly, not just here, but that supplies can be delivered before insurgents are eliminated, right? Whereas, but it might not. But like, it's going to not necessarily be as stable as if you choose the first one.
Yeah, Sydney, you're tied up in this. Do you have any thoughts? Do you have a sense of what influence Lockheed would be pulling in this array of choices?
What an interesting question. I would love to. I'm so visual. I'm just going to get the list in front of me.
Yeah, it's page 162 of my rulebook.
I have so many tabs. All right. Augury. 162. This is how little augury I have done. Okay. It'll persist. It reaches deep. Yeah, I think I think that like persistence is a really interesting question for Wolf, right? Because that implies helping other people, not just herself in that way. And I think depth is interesting as well. Yeah, I don't think
I
like
think it's
I agree with you
funny.
on stable and contained. Yeah.
I think I like the idea of not going with it persisting because that ties Wolf to this place and
Yes.
to Lockheed more. So I think
Okay,
at like
cool.
an author level, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good choice to not do. So
So,
let's go with
yeah,
it reaches
I'm
deep
interested.
then, Ash.
Like, do you do the thing of like, is it about like, because it could be Wolf needs to move, and so therefore you want this to be true more broadly. But if you say persistent and you're talking about this place, right?
Well, if it
This
persists without
place
her
is what
maintaining it, she could leave.
is
Is
she
my
could
thinking,
leave,
right?
and
Whereas if it
this place is the establishment, right? So you were making the establishment be a food drop point.
Yeah.
A supply
and
drop
I think
point.
it reaches deep. So
Deep.
Yeah.
so they will just drop off aid
Sure.
without needing to murder all of the psychically attuned people in an area first. But that like Wolf and or Lockheed will have to maintain this in order for it to continue to be a thing, beyond like
Mm.
one or two drops.
Sweet.
So let's go with that.
Yeah,
I didn't only
as long as
ruin
you have
things.
Wolf,
I
you'll
also
be able
made
to-
some things better.
Yeah. So as long as the thing is that like while Saf has Lockheed to be able to maintain it, then that'll be good. But it does tie Saf and Lockheed together in a way that
Mm-hmm.
like for at least for this place. So yeah. Cool.
What a great setup for.
And so I think
that's
what this looks like from the outside is just her tending to him, to them, and like falling asleep in a chair next to where they're laid out on a table.
Nice.
I think that like you fall asleep and then we hear the like not Morse code but like modem noises from the voice box. As
once
you're
she's
encoding
unconscious.
things.
Yeah.
While she's unconscious, as she's encoding things. Yeah. I think that's a good place to leave it.
Cool.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
All right. That was fucking sick. That took a very unexpected turn about halfway through with a rolling of a very low opening your brain. Thank you so much for giving us that, Josh. That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I really just kind of, because I had in the back of my mind this idea of like some kind of automated system that is like making sure that people don't die, but also making sure that people don't escape, right? Like this sort of, I don't know, like I think that Gaza has had a lot of influence on my mind for this of like, what does Gaza look like in 10, 20, 30, 40 years of
the like surveillance and all of the kind of technology that is deployed to containment and killing of people.
And this idea of like, we can just pick random people and declare that they're the bad guys. And so therefore, like, if you want any help from us,
everything's conditional. Like, we'll help you if you hand over some more of your people or your freedom or your,
And then you get the traditional bullshit that emerges from that of like small warlords and all those sorts of things. And, but yeah, absolutely. Cool. Anyone else got thoughts on that one? On how this is going? How are you feeling?
I do love Apocalypse World.
And
it's fun once it starts spinning up, and then there's that idea of, like, in the book they refer to it as move snowballing, but that like this thing happens and then so therefore you have to do this thing, or you react this way and then that leads to this thing, and some of the bits that kind of fit together or that fitted together, at least in the end there for Wolf, were really fun to just be like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, I've got this advance, I've got this thing. This is the perfect moment to then pick that up, and Sydney being into it and backing my play.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's good.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I think there is an inherent benefit and tension. Like I think Apocalypse World does what it does perfectly, or it does what it does better than anything else does it. And a part of that is that like the story of Apocalypse World that you tell when you come away from it can always kind of come back to discussing that one role around which so much pivoted. Like, oh, we had a miss here, or someone decided to use this move instead of this move. And it's because the game not only says like, oh, players are going to have a bunch of control on which direction it goes, but it like actively resists you having a plan, as an MC especially, but like anyone,
Yes.
it actively resists you being like, okay, I'm just going to have this, these two people that work for me, and we're going to do something else, but this is going to be the place where we come back for food or whatever. And then the rules are like, no, one of those people becomes a cult leader, and one of those people, and like, yeah, it's really strong at what it does.
The way in which like second or third session, Wolf just completely wrecked Bean's operation, and I was like, oh right, like this completely changes the power dynamic. Like,
Yeah, that was my like one thing I knew I had to do as the gunlugger was like come into town and then like kick the hornet's nest, basically, like just do one really decisive act of violence that will create enough grist for the mill that we can then have the rest of the sessions have stuff going on in the area and have there be some drama.
It was really interesting because Toyota ended up being there and seeing Bean get wrecked, and like my original clock for that was like around like Toyota's faith in Bean's promise of escape, and it had to very much change because obviously like she's seen Bean get wrecked. He's not going to be the one that can do that, right?
Yeah, like bursts that bubble.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh wow, what's her change in journey? Like when, like, because like Gams has been putting in everyone's head the idea that that the way out is here, right? Like, so
yeah, and
everyone
if Lockheed
just kind of
hadn't killed Gams, then there wouldn't be the power vacuum for Toyota to step into within the like cult group.
Yep. Yeah. No, the like wrecking of Bean, the wrecking of Gams, like, yeah, absolutely. And now like we're left with this thing where the only person left standing really at the end of that is Saf, the person who provides who has the establishment that is now also like doesn't need to trade externally as much, for like has a much more secure supply on provisions now. So like,
but might have to step into a position that he didn't want to be in the first place, right? Because he can't broker power if he's at the top of the pyramid.
Yep. But also, like, I don't know if you need to move the establishment to like somewhere else in town now that it's next to this irradiated church organ gunship. So maybe that's a good thing.Maybe you can harness it.
Yeah, I think it was really interesting. I think there are a couple of things. Like I said, I appreciate y'all letting me take part as somebody who is still pretty new to like tabletop roleplay, or tabletop roleplay. I think for me, I felt like I was constantly being like disarmed and trying to figure out how to I think I have too much video game background where I'm like, oh, okay, so these are my tools and I use these tools to get through the situation. And then it kept saying like, sorry, none of your tools work. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess I just have to wait and let somebody else use a tool to make a thing work.
Mm.
And I think
there's definitely
Mm.
there's definitely a skill in these sorts of story games, which is instead of being like, I'm gonna apply this tool, the thing that you end up trying to do is to change the situation or change your narration to create the situation where your tools work. Like you kind of have to do this other step. And I saw you starting to like pick that up and starting to be like, oh right, if I frame it or I get into this, if I manipulate things into this position, then I can start to trigger those more. But it's definitely a skill that takes a minute to build up because video games train you away from it.
Yeah.
But like it's been a wonderful having you as a part of this because it allows us, because like especially because it allows us to have the discussion around like how does this work and like remind us and like for us to tools to cause problems is a great a great way of doing it. From Kurbethian Prime in chat. But yeah, it's really nice having you here for us to kind of like use as the foil for interrogating the game.
Mm-hmm. So I when it comes to Powered by the Apocalypse stuff, design and that like tools lens, which is a great lens, I'd love to like really zoom in a little bit, is I think that there is an approach that is in line with like, I think it would be unkind to say like old point and click adventure games, but I'm going to start there, where like classic 5th edition says to you that your goal is to find the tool that fits the situation. So it implies, and this is that like maximalist design, it implies that we've given you a list of skills. Everything that you can do fits into one of these skills. Your job is to find which skill it is supposed to fit into. So, it is the GM's responsibility to say, that sounds like an Arcana check, like roll that Arcana check. And that is because there is a truth or a fact or a reality that the thing that you are doing is an Arcana check. And that to say, oh, can I use religion because is like angle shooting or is like is deviant behavior in some way. But Apocalypse World isn't about the reality of the system that you're using or like the reality of that decision. It's an expressive choice. It says to you, hey, you're gonna ask this person for something. Do you want to manipulate them? Do you want to threaten them? Or do you want to like do some other thing? Do you want to use psychic mind control? Or like 4th option, none of the above, I'm just asking them nicely. And then, you lose control. And that's a thing that I think is really important to me in Powered by the Apocalypse move design, where some people will say, okay, we need to write our basic moves, and the basic moves should all be discrete and should all be mutually exclusive. So like, what are we doing here? Are we chatting, or are we attacking, or are we blah, blah? And those ones always come out feeling very dry because they lose that expressive choice. The best ones are the ones like Monster Hearts, for example, where it's like, are you turning someone on or shutting someone down here? And the answer is like, well, like, depends how you look at it. What's the, there's, I
was going to say,
two more examples.
Me, like, your thing there of like the expressive choice, one of the things that I love that we did in Dungeon Punk is that like we have 3 versions of the talking move, whereas like if you are like the like more wizardly one is about like it, like there's a deception-y one where you're lying to people, there's one where you're saying what they want, there's one where you're just straight up threatening them, and they're all basically the same move, except they are just worded slightly differently and so completely changes. You are trying to convince a person to do what you want, but because they are artistically different, they create radically different gameplay.
Yeah. There's there are two really good examples. I think one for talking, which is in Night Witches, there is a move called Act Up, but the move changes based on whether you're breaking the rules because you're a Night Witches is a game about Soviet airwomen during World War II. Whether you're acting up, whether you're breaking the rules because you're like a thrill-seeking pilot, whether you're breaking the rules because you're a woman in a place where women are not like usually seen, or whether you're acting up because you're like a maverick, right? Because like following the rules is for nerds. And to have to state that difference is a really cool expressive choice. And then, Josh, you were mentioning that you're looking at Ironsworn. I haven't read Starforged, but the original Ironsworn has like 4 different combat moves. Like it's really clear about each of those moves has different costs and different opportunities for you. And so it's like, oh, are you fighting from behind, or are you like in a scrappy fight to the death, or are you attacking with precision? And each of those change those mechanical outcomes for you, but they also require you to like manipulate that fiction on the way in, right? And so I love what you're saying about like feeling like the tools don't work, and that is so true. Because it doesn't give you the like square peg round hole approach. It just says, here are a bunch of weird shaped holes. What can you carve this round peg into? And then jam it in with as much force as you can muster.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's something I'm a skill I'm looking forward to developing with time.
With that, do we want to continue on with a different game after this? How are you all feeling?
I'm always keen to play stuff, especially with people like you. But there's I will need to like look into my 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. Is that this is not a commitment. This is a
Yeah, if we were to keep playing, I think if we were to keep playing Apocalypse World, this definitely feels like a season finale. Like there's going to be a time skip or a big circumstance or situation change that follows it. So yeah, we're definitely at like a punctuation mark with this one.
I'm interested in using this group to interrogate some other games, even like that. That sounds like a fun thing to me, but again, we do have to check our schedules because I have no idea what my 25 looks like either. So
yeah.
But I think I personally like the idea of like trying, doing 3 to 5 in different systems and seeing the different being able to explore different things. But yeah, I think this is a cool place to season finale, and I appreciate you putting all this together. This was really cool.
I'm just happy to get to play games with y'all. So
heck yeah,
win-win.
Cool. Shall we do some sign-offs then?
Sure.
All right. Let's start with Andrew then.
My name's Andrew. You can follow me on Blue Sky. I'm Andrew Gillis on there. And you can buy my game Girl by Moonlight, put out by Evil Hat Press.
Cool. Josh?
Yeah, like every other episode, one of you mentions a game that I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. And then I find out you made it. And I'm like, the fuck is this? I don't why are we not just playing those games? Like, why are we not like this? I mean, like, obviously you feel like self-promo to you, but it'd be exciting to me. But like, so, anyway, I'm Josh. I run Intelligame. You can find me over at twitch.tv/Intelligame. We play games and talk about the connections between them and the real world. Big shout out to Q-Rubty and Prime and some other folks who've been in chat from the IG community. And yeah, and I'm on Blue Sky, because why the hell does anybody spend time on Twitter anymore? Please leave. Just leave. That's my sign off of Twitter. Yeah,
that's legit. Yes, absolutely. I think part of the thing is that like when you make a game, you play test it a lot, and so after a certain point, you're like, I've played enough of this. So
Right.
as much as I would love to play some Go by Moonlight with y'all. I don't want to put Andrew through that. When
I will graciously permit that to be on the table.
we'll see how we go. We'll talk about it. I because the thing is that I do want to like focus on games that are by like queer people, marginalized genders, people of color, people with disabilities. I want to be focusing on games by those sorts of authors. So in just kind of anything I'm doing, really. Sydney.
Hello. I was just gonna comment first that why would I play Go by Moonlight again? I have already jumped timelines when I realized that this one was doomed, which is like the coolest thing you can ever do in Go by Moonlight, right? Is to just be like, everyone's doomed here. I'm outie, and then skip.
That was fun. That was definitely a fun session.
It was truly a delighter in a game. Yeah, my name's Sydney. You can find me on Blue Sky and the like under Sydney Icarus, or you can find me at waxwings.com.au. If you do like talking about Powered by the Apocalypse things, I have an old podcast called The Hard Move, which, I did season 2, which is about Powered by the Apocalypse moves, which is pretty cool.
I'm going to subscribe.
I'm going to have some new podcast stuff coming in 2025. I'm just writing season 1 for something now, so very exciting.
That's super cool.
Stay tuned.
Awesome. Well, I've been Ash. I've been your GM. You can find me on Blue Sky and other places at Acegiac, ACEGIAK. This was amazing. We will have a chat to see if we can organize to do some more of it. Talk about different game options. But we will talk about if we're doing any more of it. That'll be on Blue Sky, so that's the place to go and have the conversation. Until then, I guess it's time to catch you later. We will see you all around. Bye.
See you, friends.